Seoch chleiche sa níos faoi gábh líana déag idir gasarí Greenlough agus gasarí Port Clunne óin. Tá socrúán le blianta inis go mbíonn cleiche cardúil idir na bonscoltathe i Greenlough agus Port Clunne óin agus tá siad a gcónaí iontach dá riamh fadúdá. Here the lads of the neighbouring parishes Greenlough and Portlaoin are hotly engaged in an under-12 friendly match. The line-up of the team is Stephen Graham, James McFall, Chris Larkin, Sean Mullen, Owen O'Neill, trainer Robert Mullen, Brendan Henry, Terry Hutchinson, Kieran McAlinn, Terence Burt, Declan O'Neill, Eugene O'Neill, Declan Toner, Sean Hutchinson, Dermot Graham, Paul Duffin, Martin McNally, Barry Lynn, Kieran McPeak, Adrian Kearney and Adrian McCann. Oran McFall, Kevin McCann, Brian McPeak, Declan McCann, Shannon Conlon, Fintan O'Neill, Paul McKenna, Brian Rocks, Thomas McCann and Dermot McCallion. Eden, from the Irish Eden, which is a forehead or brow. Eden is a townland on the brow of the hill, and it occupies a commanding position in the parish, containing much attractive scenery, with the Clady River forming a boundary on the northern side. Here, I've got something to tell you. Me and my brother here. But our wee brother wants to keep it a secret. Not much use for it now. I'm sure many's a good yarn was told round it in the days before piped water. A listed house. The authorities are rightly concerned that old distinguished buildings should be preserved for future generations in their original elegance. Here in Ballymacpeak, they adhere to the ancient custom, thousands of years old, of not interfering with a fairy thorn. This may well be a model of the horses and carts that existed in the parish at the turn of the century. You will see shortly Monisjahan Hibernian Hall. The older generation recall that at the turn of the century, black stone was brought many miles by horse and cart for the building of this old hall, every farmer drawing so many loads. Greenlough's original leisure centre, where the youth of the parish paddled, splashed and learned to swim, dived in the waters of the Claddy River and fished with a bent pin for trout in the placid waters. Here on the playing fields of St Mary's Primary School and St Mary's College, the children of the parish are taught the basic skills of our national games, football, camogie and hurling. We have many examples of players who began here progressing to honours at county and Ulster level. Here too, in Jimmy McErlane's house, the first ever meeting of the original football club was held. Camogie is nurtured from a very early age in the parish, for in the primary school the basic skills of the game are taught from primary 4 and 5 upwards, when the girls are about 8 or 9 years old. The primary school has teams competing in the South Derry inter-schools leagues and competitions, and have many trophies to prove their ability. At St Mary's College the encouragement continues, and the school has an enviable reputation in inter-school competitions and has met and beaten some of the best school teams in Ireland. Featured here is an under-12 game between Greenlough and Balahi. The Greenlaw team is Corrina O'Neill, Joanne Lagan, Jean McErlane, Ursula Mullen, Deirdre McCann, Sinead Henry, Karen Maguire and trainer Cathy MacDonald. Myra Clark, Sean O'Neill, Danielle O'Neill, Claire Lagan, Anya McPeak and Jolene Kelly. The senior team, playing against Swatara, the current Derry champions. The line-up is Coach Kieran MacDonald, Fiona McCann, Sharon McPeak, Bridget Laverty, Elaine McChrystal, Anne MacDonald, Ailish MacDonald and Maeve Downey. Amanda Lynn, Mary Downey, Cathy MacDonald, Nuala Rankin, Imelda Bradley and Donna Marin. And pull they do, the parish stalwarts, fit, muscular and virile, they here show us the determination and concentration needed to have merited the trophies won in competitive tug-o-war. Fit men all. Joe Doherty, P.J. Henry, Billy Knox, Jim McTague, Martin McErlane, Tom McCallion, Pat McErlane and Richard Coyle. A big event in the history of any parish is the ordination of one of its sons for the priesthood, and Greenlaw justifiably rejoiced when John Gilmore, who had once helped to bring honour to the parish when as a gifted Irish dancer he was one of a team which brought an All-Ireland trophy to Greenlaw. Even more jubilation was experienced when on Sunday the 18th of June 1989 he became Father John. A necessity for any club is the existence of a good reserve team from which to draw material for the senior panel. Here we see the reserve team in action against Glack. This reserve squad consists of Mark Henry, Eamon McCann, Michael Larkin, Lawrence Maguire, Jerry Larkin, Seamus McErlane, and James O'Neill. Seamus McErlane, Matthew McAteer, Adrian McGoldrick, Adrian O'Neill, Brian Clark, and Martin McErlane. Clady can hold its own among Derry's smaller villages, with a plumbing warehouse, a home bakery, a fast food cafe, a physiotherapist, a post office, a furniture store, a bar, a butcher's, a hairdresser, a builder supplier. It caters for all needs. Mullach na Moyach, a townland in the parish which was quite the centre of things in 1950. The name, of course, derives from Gaelic, Mullach being a hill or a slope, and Moyach being from the Irish word boihach, a byre or cowhouse, so Mullach na Moyach, the hill of the byres or cowhouses. Though biased critics of the playing standards seen at some club matches might say otherwise, please be assured that these are not club members. Here the minor team plays loop, and on this team is James Lynn. James brought honour to the club and the parish in this the Jubilee year, when playing centre half forward for Derry in the All-Ireland minor final against Offaly, he brought an All-Ireland medal to Greenlaugh. The team is James Lynn, Paul O'Neill, Mark Henry, Adrian McGoldrick, Emmett Downey, Carl Henry, Paul Marin and manager Tom Hutchinson. Colm Lynn, Dermot Lynn, Lawrence Madden, Patrick O'Neill, Adrian O'Neill, Anthony McAteer, Seamus Downey. The culmination of all the celebrations, festivities and plans of the club's 50th anniversary were to have their focal point in a Jubilee Sunday. Sunday the 9th of July, the Sunday closest to the feast of St Oliver Plunkett, was chosen as the day on which this was to happen. The club spent many hours planning this event, though most of the organisation was carried out by a special committee set up to bring into being the Jubilee Sunday. In the days leading up to the Jubilee Sunday, all club members and parishioners generally pitched in to carry out the multitude of jobs necessary in staging the big event. As usual, the women obviously feel they could do better than these men. That familiar figure's going to make sure that the next job's done right.
You're joking. I have a bad head for race. Go on ahead. Half months up now. Get away with that. Listen, I'm too expensive and I'm ready to go up there. Get somebody late on.
Will the results of this member's endeavours get him a higher place in heaven, I wonder? The Red Letter Day was an occasion when all in the parish, every man, woman and child, every organisation, business and firm, every club, every trade, every sporting body was invited to come together in a demonstration of solidarity, friendship and togetherness. And this they did, as can be seen from this colourful parade in which dozens of the parish's clubs and associations, from junior school teams to senior pioneers, all amalgamated in the bright sunshine at Claddagh in what was to be the culmination of everything that had marked the celebration of 50 years' existence. This culmination was the parade of all the clubs and organisations, the concelebrated Mass on the sports pitch, the open-air concert involving the talent of the parish, refreshments for all and sundry, and the final evening entertainment and dance in the hall. A long, an interesting, a memorable, and a most enjoyable day. Viewing the display of so many parish organisations on this very special day, one could not but note that while various clubs, societies and associations had come and gone, had prospered and lapsed over the past 50 years, possibly the football club was the only one with a continuous, unbroken existence, a body which could be called upon to help in matters quite apart from football. A structure which could be used to get people together for whatever reason, and a vehicle to be utilised when the parish was in need of manual help or support in the raising of funds for parish necessities. When the parish called, the club answered unhesitatingly. It was somehow appropriate that Father Gilmore should have been ordained just in time to participate with Father O'Reilly in the most solemn part of the Jubilee Sunday's events. Here, very fittingly, the chairman, Raymond Scullin, represents the club at the Mass by reading the epistle.
Rejoice, Jerusalem, be glad for her, all you who love her. Rejoice, rejoice for her, all you who mourned her, that you may be suckled, filled from her consoling breast, that you may savour with delight her glorious breasts. For thus says the Lord, now...
The Camogie representative, Bridget McCluskey, and Joe Laughlin, the club physiotherapist. As in most parishes, these ideals of keeping the traditional Irish pastimes alive are coupled in Greenlaugh with strong links and associations with the preservation of the faith. The naming of the club after the distinguished martyr and St Oliver Plunkett, the custom of concluding club meetings with a prayer, the decision to have as the central and most solemn part of the Jubilee Sunday celebrations an outdoor Mass in the playing field, all these are indicative of the deep respect and esteem in which the ancient faith of our country is held. And so how fitting it was that the club should commission the creation of a beaten copper plaque depicting St Oliver Plunkett, whose name they bear. Jimmy Cassidy, a tireless worker for the club, had the honour of presenting it for blessing at the special Mass. It is scheduled for a permanent place in the club's pavilion, and it is hoped that, bearing in mind the new church and the club are both named St Oliver Plunkett, and that historians assure us the saint had definite links with the parish of Greenlaugh, then perhaps this fitting ceremony will be the beginning of an annual commemoration in the parish of the illustrious saint's feast day.
Now that the club has got this plaque wrought by a coppersmith and is going to mount it on the wall of the pavilion. On the other side of the engraving of the saint is an oak leaf with acorns, beautifully enamelled in green and red on copper. And I think it's really a most artistic and beautiful plaque. And I've now great pleasure in blessing this plaque. Almighty God, may this representation of our patron saint inspire us to the highest ideals and always bring to the mind of our members and of their friends the principles on which this association was founded and bond us together in unity and peace and love of one another. And I now bless this plaque in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And the last thing I want to say is that I congratulate the club, all the members, and I congratulate all those who took part in the display and the floats, and all who arranged the decorations and the bunting and flags. I think it was a wonderful display. And it shows how the club works together and how all the men pull their weight and the ladies' committee